Following widespread speculation tying design great Adrian Newey to Aston Martin, confirmation is now considered to be close, as Adrian Newey's transfer to the Aston Martin Formula One team is expected to be revealed in the lead-up to next week's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. This could change everything for Aston Martin. Also for their potential follow-up drivers, for example, this could lure in Max Verstappen. So, following months of speculation over the future of the iconic Formula One designer who stated earlier this year that he would be leaving Red Bull, formal confirmation of his plans is expected before the next race. While Newey was first associated most closely with the Ferrari squad following his Red Bull leave, it rapidly became evident that Aston Martin had surpassed them as a top bidder for his services. In addition to team owner Lawrence Stroll's personal efforts to persuade Newey to join the team, a covert visit to Aston Martin's Silverstone facility in June is thought to have played a significant role in his decision to think that the team can provide him with what he requires. Stroll has made significant investments in building a cutting-edge infrastructure for the team, and a new wind tunnel is expected to be operational soon enough, aiding the team's long-term goals. While Aston Martin has not commented on the matter, a statement on Newey's future has long been expected for this month, according to a clause in his Red Bull departure agreement that specifies when his future can be disclosed. The news comes after Newey's manager, Eddie Jordan, announced that an agreement with Red Bull has postponed an announcement about his client's future until at least September 6th. Aston Martin has been extensively linked with a move for Newey since the iconic designer stated in May that he will depart Red Bull in early 2025, after overseeing the team's meteoric success with the likes of Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen. The 65-year-old is the most decorated man in Formula One history, having won almost 200 races and 12 Constructors and 13 Drivers' World Championships with teams such as Red Bull, McLaren and Williams. After apparently being given a private tour of the team's new state-of-the-art facility this summer, widespread speculations last month suggested Newey had opted to join Aston Martin on a 3-year contract for $100 million. Jordan appeared to confirm the reports during an interview on the Formula 4 Success podcast last month, claiming that an agreement had been reached with Red Bull over the releasing of any future ideas that we may be doing. He emphasized that the agreement will be adhered to and respected 100%. With last Sunday's Italian Grand Prix signaling the start of September, attempts to conclude Newey's move to Aston Martin are set to pick up this week, with an announcement expected before next weekend's Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku. The anticipated forthcoming announcement of Newey's entry comes amid Aston Martin's significant recruitment effort to get the top engineering expertise the team believes is required to compete with the best in Formula One. Before the summer vacation, the company announced that former Mercedes engine manager Andy Cowell will take over as Group CEO in October, succeeding Martin Whitmarsh. Aston has also hired former Ferrari chassis technical director Enrico Cardile to assist it improve its design capabilities. With a technical director in place in Dan Fallows, who previously worked with Newey at Red Bull, doubts have been raised about how simple it would be to construct a cohesive framework that included all of the team's key players. But, speaking at the last Dutch Grand Prix, Aston Martin team head Mike Crack stated that it would not be a major issue to address. "I think Formula One these days is so broad," he joked. "It is not like you have to make huge changes. I think there was a time where there was a team that had 7 technical directors in the past. So I think we are very far from that. I think someone like that, you have to make any kind of effort to integrate and adjust your structure to get the best out of it." While Newey's expected arrival at Aston Martin would be a significant assist to the team's long-term objectives, since the Briton has won titles at Williams, McLaren and Red Bull, current driver Fernando Alonso believes his effect will take time to be noticed. When asked about the impending confirmation at the Italian Grand Prix, Alonso replied, "Well, it's still rumours, and I think it's not only a one-man job to fix the things. So it's more what we have now and what we are producing. Understand what is going in the right direction, what is going on the wrong direction, and try to prepare 2025 in a better way. Commentator David Croft, who appeared on Sky F1's broadcast at Monza, also hinted that Newey's destiny will be decided soon. He said, "There's a lot going on behind the scenes at Aston Martin, not just with the new campus but with new staff coming in as well. I think we might hear something about Adrian Newey's future this week. He's been linked heavily with Aston Martin. The hiring of Newey would be a big coup for Aston Martin team owner Lawrence Stroll, who has made no secret of his desire to transform the former Jordan Grand Prix and powerhouse India squad into a championship-winning powerhouse." Newey's entrance follows the hirings of Ferrari technical director Enrico Cardile and former Mercedes engine expert Andy Cowell, with Aston Martin expected to begin a works collaboration with Honda, Red Bull's current engine supplier, in F1 2026. Croft feels Mr. Stroll deserves credit for putting his money where his mouth is in his attempts to transform Aston Martin into a top-tier squad. And well, he's deserved that right, because Newey is someone that can change the whole course of a team. Just ask Red Bull, because Max Verstappen's admission that Red Bull has transformed its superior Formula One car into a monster demonstrates how serious the team believes its difficulties are now that Newey is gone. Verstappen's disappointing performance at the Italian Grand Prix, in which he was unable to finish higher than 6th, has left little doubt that both the constructors' and drivers' titles are under threat. The biggest difficulty with the RB20 F1 competitor is a handling imbalance, which means that both Verstappen and Sergio Perez are failing to connect the car. As team boss Christian Horner explained, "There's a balance issue with the car that isn't allowing the drivers to commit to corner entry. As soon as you calm down the rear, you do that by compromising the front. Then you end up with understeer, and then you kill your tyre that way." While Red Bull is aware of what is happening, it does not yet understand what is causing it or how to rectify it. However, as part of the comprehensive investigation of everything that is now taking place at its Milton Keynes facility this week, certain major variables have already surfaced as potential contributors to what has occurred. When Red Bull unveiled the RB20 at its Milton Keynes plant at the start of the year, many were shocked by how far it had come since 2023. Rather than rest on its laurels following its dominant push to a title double last year with an evolutionary design, it went all out with a significant overhaul of its aero and cooling to give an extra step in performance. But, looking back on how things have progressed this season, and seeing how McLaren has tracked it down by simply optimizing a car that hasn't altered much since Miami, one factor might be that its excessively sophisticated efforts to outperform the competition have backfired. Red Bull team boss Christian Horner said, "I think what we really need to do is get the aero map working. If you look at the McLaren, it almost looks like an evolution of last year's car, a much simpler car than ours. Perhaps we've gone a little too complex and perhaps we need to simplify a few things." It's also plausible that, as the F1 pace setter, Red Bull has reached a development limit with the current generation of cars, preventing considerable advancements. "We've hit the ceiling in certain areas and the car's disconnected," he added. "Sometimes, maybe, to have slightly less load but an overall better balance will generate better lap time, better degradation, and better tyre management." Red Bull's drop in form after the Miami Grand Prix coincided with the announcement that design mastermind Adrian Newey was leaving the team. That news occurred on the eve of the Miami Grand Prix, the first race this season in which Red Bull was defeated by McLaren. Although Newey has stayed with the team during races and will not formally leave until the first quarter of next year, he has clearly been removed from technical concerns. And, while Newey was not the sole architect of Red Bull's title-winning machinery in recent years, he has frequently contributed vital input in concept ideas or stabilized the ship when things have become unstable. However, Horner does not believe Newey's departure is a role because the problems were discovered when he was still highly involved trackside. "I think we would have had all of these issues still, because the issues were already there," he said. "And one man's input could never be so dramatic so quickly. This started and really highlighted itself in Miami, and Adrian was plugged in up until the Friday of Miami, so there's no way it would have impacted so quickly. Asked if Newey may have been able to see a way out of the problems, Horner said, "But he'd be working with all the same people. F1 is a team sport, it's a team issue, and the team will come up with the resolution." But the question is, will they? They've had problems ever since the race in Miami, and there hasn't been one upgrade ever since that could fix it. So, it's looking pretty bad, right? What do you think? Will Red Bull be able to fix things? And will we see Adrian Newey joining Aston Martin soon? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.